Hi, this is Raisa from Sweet Sultry Spice. Today I'm going to make my dal that I generally teach people how to make. I've been doing this for so many years that I don't even remember how many years. But I grew up making dal, I grew up eating it. And then once I moved away to New York with Akbar, um, I didn't know how to make it. And so it's just been a journey in a lot of really bad dals. and and I've just, through a lot of experimentation, I've come up with a way to just make it really good. And so I just teach it as a starting point for all of the people that come to me. And, really it's just a very simple, straightforward recipe. There isn't much to it, but you've got to smell things and you've got to taste things and know how to cook it properly. And so I'm just going to go through that with you. And hopefully you will be motivated to give it a go. Any questions, do message me in the comments, and and I'll be happy to answer them. I mean, if weren't in lockdown, I'd actually come over. So anyway, enjoy. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to fry our onions. So I think the biggest problem that people have is that they don't fry their onions enough, and it still feels it just tastes raw and it smells raw. And so, I when you're cooking on the stovetop, it's a different kind of cooking, but okay, so we're gonna start by frying some onions, and we're gonna do it in my thermomix here. See my handy dandy reliable thermomix. And this is the part that we really need to get right, because if you don't cook your onions properly, then you can taste them in the dish. And so here I've just got one onion, and have a smell. Really, you should know what a raw onion smells like, so that when it's actually browning, you know what to look for. So if I smell it, I can smell that it's vaporizing. All of the juices are vaporizing, and it's just very earthy and fresh, and it's not something that would be really palatable, because it's sort of a stinging sensation there. And so what I'm going to do is pan down first, and I'm going to chop my onions. So I did do you can see the bits of onion in here. I was experimenting before. So I'm just going to chop my onions. So I've got one onion here, and I'm just going to chop it for 5 seconds at speed 5. And okay, and that should be done. Did you see me flinch? Okay, awesome. My machine is singing. Awesome, look. Okay, so my onions are chopped, and what I'm going to do is just scrape down the bowl. Be careful with this, because all of these juices are sort of lingering in the air. It'll hit you in the face, and your eyes will start to water. So just going to do that. I am adding some clarified butter here. Clarified butter it just has a high smoking point. And I just need about 2 tablespoons. Doesn't have any of the whey in it, and it's amazing. If there's anything else that you have, and basically, if you don't have ghee, that's fine. If you have, you can use coconut oil, olive oil, grapeseed oil. Any of these neutral flavored oils is fine. So the idea is that we are browning our onions. We're not sweating them. We are we're not sweating them. Sweating is when you get the onions translucent, and what we want to do is we want to make the onions sweeter, so we need to get a little bit of color on them. And so that's what I'm doing now. I've added 2 tablespoons of ghee just so that it can fry up. And I'm going to pan down now, and I'm going to cook this for about 10 minutes. So let's set this. And I'm going to put the temperature at 120 because I'm trying to get some color on this. And I'm going to do a reverse speed at speed 1. So if you tasted, what you want to do is you want to cook this for 10 minutes, and then you'll get a little bit of a light caramel color on these onions. And I would just do a smell test. So if you don't smell that freshness or that raw, stinging, sort of, I don't even know how to describe the flavor. Just not very. It's not. Eating yellow onion is not fun. If you still get that raw smell, then you need to cook it for a bit longer. But I think 10 minutes should be okay with me. I'm gonna check it after that, and then if I need more time, then I'll do that. So I'll see you back in a minute. So it's been 10 minutes, and I've been cooking my onions, and so I did it at 120 degrees, like I said before. And I'm gonna show you. I have been smelling it throughout just to make sure that rawness has gone away. So you can see that the onions are in here and they've got a bit of color in there. I also tasted it, so it's probably a good idea if you're not comfortable, if you're not sure about onions, to just taste them. You can taste it when it's raw and then taste it when it's cooked. And it's gotta taste a lot sweeter, because usually when you're browning, you're trying to bring the sugars out of the onion. And so we've done that. And then next step is to just, okay, I'm bringing this down. I'm gonna add my turmeric and my garlic. So you can puree garlic, or you can put chopped garlic in, but I just have pureed garlic. This is my spice jar, which I'll show you. Actually, got sidetracked here. Okay, so I've got tomato sauce. So I'm gonna put that in. Usually I just eyeball this. So I'd say that's about half a cup. Wait, let's see. So if I had a 400 can of chopped tomatoes, you can use that, or you can use the sauce. I'd use probably 150 to 200 grams of chopped tomato in this recipe. So I'm going to also add some turmeric. So this is my little spice container right here. I know, so cute, isn't it? So I've got my usual spices, my turmeric, my hot red pepper, coriander, cumin, garam masala, some mustard seeds, and cumin seeds. These are really my go-tos. And in this recipe, I'm just using about, a teaspoon of turmeric and about 3/4 of a teaspoon of chili powder. And this is hot chili powder, not paprika. So just so you know. And then I'm just going to, let me show you. So it's in here. And I'm going to just cook this for a minute. Just let it mix around. And then we will add the dal and go from there. So while this is doing that, I'm going to set it for a minute. And add 100. I'm just mixing this in. I'm not really doing some serious cooking like I did with the onions. But while this is going, I will just show you my dals. So the 2 dals that I use for this recipe, and I've tried different variations, and this is my winning combo. So I will give you the lowdown on dals. So with dals, I have there are many varieties, and we go through this in the class. But today I'm just using, I'm using these two. So I'll show these to you on the camera. I'm gonna pan it over. And I've got one here that is a chana dal. And I've got this red Masoor dal, and I think in the stores it's called Masoor. I can show you a close-up. So see, this is like a close-up red lentils. And then this actually is called chana dal that you can get at the grocery store. So you can use this, you can use tur dal. But the reason that I use a lot of this one is because I want some texture in my dal, and this one is not so this versus this one, when you cook this a lot, it dissolves and becomes baby food, and that's fine if you like this sort of mushy texture, but I kind of like different textures in my dal, and so this one takes longer to cook, but it also holds its shape in the dal. So I think it's what really makes the dish, and whenever I make dal, I always use this one. So I've just mixed in my garlic and my turmeric in here, and I'm going to add my dals and some salt. I forgot the salt. Don't forget your salt, please. It doesn't work when you add it on top. Okay, so these are my lentils. So I've soaked these from last night. You don't have to pre-soak them, but the reason that I soak them is to get the phytates out, and soaking overnight does that. And then the other thing is that if you soak them, it just cooks a lot quicker, and quick is what I like. So I'm gonna stick these in here. Make sure when you do pre-wash them, and then just wash them about 2 or 3 times, and stick them in here. So I think my measurements were, again, I eyeballed it. 180 grams of the chana dal, which was the yellow one, and then about 120 of the red dal. I have to double check. And it's always, I always put more of the chana dal than I do the other dal. Oh, let me add some salt. So again, I'm adding about a good teaspoon of this rock salt. Don't waste your flake sea salt. That's for, that's to get texture and sprinkle on top. So, oh, I forgot I need to add some water. So again, I'm eyeballing this. So what I'm doing is adding about, 3 centimeters above the bottom line of the dal. So I'm going to try and show you. So this is, okay, you can see it, right? I know that's not helpful, but kind of get the point there. I'm just going to add a bit more just for the sake of it, and turn this on. So what we want is, we're going to check in 20 minutes to make sure that it's actually the yellow dal was the one that takes the longest to cook. I'm going to set this at 110, reverse the speed, and I think I usually set it at speed 1. I'm going to check it, make sure that the yellow dal is cooked. So if it's light towards the center, that means that it needs more cooking. We're just going to add some more time to it. And if it's cooked all the way through, you should be able to smash it on the side of the bowl, and it will sort of fall apart. So I will see you in 20 minutes. It's been about 25 minutes. I actually, after about 15 minutes, what I did, I stopped the machine and I checked to see where the chana dal was, and it was probably halfway cooked, and so I decided to turn the temperature up to 120 degrees and added 10 minutes to the time. So my total cook time was about 25 minutes. which is not bad because I went and I did some gardening and I'm super excited. I love my garden. So I will just show you. And one of the ways that I know that it's done is that I've got a lot of sticking to the lid going on here. So I did scrape it a bit. And you'll see when you check it, there are two ways to check it. One is, okay, so I'm gonna pan this down. So I've got it's very thick. It's a very thick mixture, so you can see that the red lentils have really dissolved. And what I'm left with is the bigger chana dal. So you can smash it against the side and it will just disintegrate. And if you're still insecure about whether it's cooked or not, then just taste it. So that is always the best way to go. You just do a taste test. If it smells, smells really good, you can smell that it's on its way to be, perfection. I'm very excited about my dal. And if you taste it, you can check for the salt and to make sure that it's not like this blah tasting thing. It's just fantastic. So we're nearly there. I know it looks like it's good. It takes forever to do anything, but I mean, if you want to eat really good food, you got to make the effort, okay? Make the effort. Okay, last thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna go to the stovetop. The last part is the tarka. You can't make that you can't make it in the thermomix, or at least I wouldn't try it because I just want a little bit more surface area, and I like to do it in my little metal pot with some really high heat. So I'm not going to burning point, but I'm definitely going probably up 150 degrees Celsius or so, just so I can really toast my cumin seeds. So anyway, we're gonna do that at the stovetop, and that's how we're gonna finish off this dish. And so I'm just heating my pan here. I've got medium-high heat, and I'm just going to add some ghee to this pan. So probably just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Now tarka is just it's just a technique that when in Indian cooking where you're frying spices, and it's just to bring out their flavor and their aroma. Really, just you want to intensify it, and that's what takes this dal up to a whole different level. So the three ingredients that I'm going to use for this are some curry leaves that you can see here, some dried red chilies, we love these, and my favorite cumin seeds. I love toasted cumin seeds. So all it is you just heat this oil, add in about a teaspoon, or I've got two big, nice, generous pinches of cumin. I'm adding a few of my red peppers and my curry leaves. Curry leaves are great. They give a really nice flavor to your spices. So generally what I do is I just tilt the pan to one side and I let the vegetable, or what am I saying? I let the spices kind of really, frying is when you have enough oil that you're submerging whatever it is, the food stuff in that oil. And that's exactly what I'm doing when I'm tilting this pan. So you'll start smelling the cumin seeds really toasting up. You'll see this red pepper, it will become a dark crimson color, and the cumin will start to really mellow out. You'll start smelling it, and it becomes very fragrant. Everything is just, even the curry leaves are getting dark. So at this point, I'm starting to get a bit of a smoke. I don't want to burn it, so what you're going to do is this is my pot with the dal in. I just transferred it. I'm just sticking this taking my hot dal and just emptying it into, or sorry, my hot tarka, and emptying it into my dal. And you can see how fabulous that looks. You can top it off with some, just want to mix it up. Top it off with some fresh cilantro and mint, and you're pretty much done. So that's how I make my dal. Okay, so I just finished. I just wanted to show you a close-up of my dal here. It looks absolutely fantastic and it smells great. I guess, you know, have a taste test. If it smells good, definitely it's going to taste good. If you need a bit of salt, you can adjust that. But everything is in there. It's so simple. Give it a go. I promise you, you'll love it. And I know that I've taken a lot of time to explain things, and I don't know, just gone through the whole process of things. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't, it takes me that long every time I do this. I will cook this dal in under a half an hour. It's that easy for me. So the other thing you can do is you can make a double batch, and you freeze one batch before, and then when you take it out, defrost it, and then top it off with your tarka. The tarka is always the thing that goes on right before you serve it. So I'm looking forward to eating this, and yeah, I'm going to get a spoon. Oh my God, it's so good. I am so happy. Okay, I'll see you next